What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and if you would have asked me several months ago if I would be doing a review for the movie Sonic the Hedgehog on this channel, my answer would have probably been no. Why would I? They came out with an absolutely terrible looking trailer. I'm not a huge Sonic fan or anything like that, so why would I go see this movie? Well, that's until they decided to go ahead and do something that's not very Hollywood-like and listen to their fans. Instead of thinking that they know better than everyone else, they took the huge outrage that there was about how it looked and they said, we hear you, we understand, we are going to fix it for you. And the fans are going out and reciprocating by going out in droves to see this movie, and I think it's awesome. Now, this review, I'll give my initial thoughts and stuff. That'll be non-spoiler. I will get into a couple spoilers, however spoilery you can get for a movie like this at the end, but I will give you fair warning before that happens. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I know there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, this is awesome, it's incredible. It's okay. It is what it is. It's a family-friendly movie. There's going to be some... It's not like... If you go there not expecting to get some corny jokes or anything like that, or some very simplistic plots, then you're probably not going to see the right movie. This is a family movie, and that's what it does well. Because I went with my family, and I got two boys who really like Sonic, especially one of them, and he really enjoyed it. He had a great time watching it. And I think one of the big reasons is he saw who was on screen, and he could immediately identify that with Sonic. If he had seen that original design, I'm not sure if that would have been the case. I think that Jim Carrey gives a really good performance. It's not really Dr. Robotnik, at least that I can remember from watching the show. That's where probably most of my Sonic lore or knowledge or whatever comes from, is I watched the cartoon back in the day. I did play the games. I didn't own a Sega Genesis, but I played them when I was over at a friend's house and stuff like that, so I played a decent amount of Sonic, but I watched a lot of the show, the TV show, the cartoon. Jim Carrey wasn't exactly Dr. Robotnik. He was Jim Carrey. He was just being like old school Jim Carrey. That's how it felt. Until the end. But I suppose that's a spoiler, so we won't really talk about that. It was only an hour and a half long. I'm glad that it wasn't too long. The effects looked pretty good. I know there's some people are saying, oh, you can tell that they totally did a hash job animating this over itself again. I didn't really see that. I thought it looked fine, but I don't have the best eye when it comes to that sort of thing. Overall, a fun movie that you'll get a couple chuckles at. You're not going to sit there and laugh out loud the entire time, but if you're bringing family there, it's a great thing to have to watch with your kids. You don't have to worry about any kind of messaging. There was no wokeness at all, just a simple movie. Now, getting into spoilers. So the movie starts off with him just racing through a city being chased by Robotnik, and it's like, hey, I should probably tell you where this starts. A very typical, kind of ploy that they use in these movies. Hey, this is where we are. You're invested now, right? Let's show you how we got there. So they go back to what everyone was talking about, Baby Sonic, right? And people ask me, are you going to hate Baby Sonic as much as you hate Baby Yoda? No, because this is simply a device used for a couple minutes to try to introduce the origins of a character. And you see Baby Sonic running around his island, doing loop-de-loops, running over ramps, just like you would see in the game. Really cool setup like that. He's being taken care of by Longclaw the Owl, and who's like, you shouldn't use your power, you're too fast, you shouldn't use this, people are going to want to steal it. And immediately he faces repercussions for using it as a group of Echindas, no sign of Knuckles, that I saw anyway, in this movie, want to come and kidnap him. I don't know exactly, at this point you don't know exactly how they would use his power or why, but that's the case. Longclaw flies off with him, saves him, gives him these rings, and says these are really important, and they open a portal to another world, pretty much anywhere you want. You can go to another world, you can go to another part of the world you're on. It's just a portal. Doctor Strange-esque, if you will. It's kind of what it seems like. And sends him to go run. It says, run. Don't let anyone know you have a power. Run and hide. And that's what Sonic takes, for the next several years. That's how he lives. He happens to be Earth. He's in the middle of Green Hills, Montana, and he is just running around, having fun, but trying to stay hidden. He's observing the other towns members, feels like he's getting to know them even though he has to stay in secret. And but he really is alone. And that finally like comes to he finally gets his realization as he's playing this baseball game. They have a cute little couple scenes where he's playing a baseball game with himself, he's playing ping pong with himself, things like that. And he finally comes to this realization that he truly is alone. He doesn't have any friends. It's just him. And at one point, he kind of lets his frustrations get the better of him. The fact that he is alone, he just runs and runs and runs as fast as he can and overloads his power, basically, and sends an EMP and knocks out electricity everywhere. Everything's down. It's a huge blackout. And that gets the attention of the government, who thinks it could be something, extraterrestrial. They don't know what it is. They send in Dr. Robotnik, which is Jim Carrey. And everyone's like saying that he's a genius, but he's impossible to work with. And Jim Carrey does a great job of playing an absolute asshole in this movie. Probably because he kind of is a little bit of one in real life right now. But he does a really good job at playing himself. This is old school Jim Carrey, like from the 90s. That's what it feels like. And does a decent job of being a villain and someone that you want to hate. You also are introduced to a character named Tom, who Sonic refers to as the Donut Lord, who is kind of the protagonist in this movie along with Sonic. He is a local sheriff, but he wants to do better things than in this little rinky-dink town. He wants to go to San Francisco. And that's kind of his arc in this, is him and his wife are debating whether or not to move to San Francisco. What do they have to live for here still in this little town? They want to do more. And he eventually finds Sonic, who is hiding at the time from all of these government people who are looking for him. And he shoots him with a tranquilizer dart because he gets scared. He thought it was a raccoon in there. And he shoots him with a tranquilizer dart, realizes that these rings are portals, and all the rest of the rings actually drop through into San Francisco at the top of this building. And that's kind of the next part of this story. So he picks up Sonic and waits till he wakes up, decides that he kind of owes it to Sonic, who he just tranquilized to kind of save him and protect him. And Robotnik comes to try to find him. They leave. They run away. And Tom gets, basically guilted into helping Sonic get all the way to San Francisco to help find these rings. Because if he can get to the rings, he can take a portal, get to another world, and be safe. And Dr. Robotnik finds a little spine from Sonic that is like glowing with power. He does some experiments on it. He realizes that the power that this can unlock is massive. And so that is now Robotnik's goal. He wants to get Sonic to take his power. And he uses the little spine to power his craft. And along with Robotnik's craft, he also has a bunch of robots that are trying to kind of hunt them down the entire time. And he wants to unlock their full potential with Sonic's power. So as they're traveling across the country, Sonic and Tom, they obviously make a bond. They kind of understand each other. Sonic realizes that maybe he has someone he's not quite as alone. Tom realizes that maybe what he's searching for in San Francisco isn't necessarily something he wants. They get to San Francisco. They all get there, and there's a big face-off with the rings. Some cool battle sequences. Where Sonic is obviously using his super speed to get past missiles, to do basically whatever he wants. Kind of like Quicksilver or Flash scenes, very similar to things like that, where everything's moving in super slow motion and he's just going along doing his thing. He ends up saving Tom and his wife, sending them through a portal, sending them back to Green Hill, and then Sonic leads Robotnik on this chase across everything. And when Robotnik is in his craft, I kind of forget if that has a name or not in the books. But anyway, Dr. Robotnik in his big, basically airship. He's chasing Sonic around. He's got these goggles on. He's got a little mustache. You're like, okay, I can kind of see how that's Robotnik. Okay, I see that. But he's still not truly Robotnik yet. He leads them on this chase, finally tracks him down. He's throwing ring after ring, portal after portal, going through them, to try to get away, but Robotnik keeps following him. Eventually, he makes it all the way back to Green Hills, Montana, where it started, where Tom and his wife are at now, for the last final face-off. Everyone in the town says, hey, you can't do that, he's our friend, or whatever, the kind of like stereotypical thing. And Robotnik doesn't care. He says, F you guys, I'm evil. I'm going to take what I want. It's mine. Sonic has a resurgence of energy, finally unlocks his power at will, and it's controllable. And he realized, I am done running and hiding. I'm going to use my power to protect the people that I care about. And they have a last little face-off. He beats the crap out of Robotnik, has Tom throw a ring to a portal to this mushroom world, and basically one last hit and shoves his craft into there, and Robotnik is gone. Now, they have a little thing where everyone's happy. The government's done, or the government's still looking for Sonic, but they don't really know what's going on. Tom is hiding Sonic. They give him a little home. So now Sonic feels like he has a place in the world. Tom feels like he has a place in Green Hill and something more to live for. And yay, everybody's happy. Then we see at the end Robotnik on this planet who has shaved his head, his mustache has grown out, and Jim Carrey looks a lot like Robotnik. Not as fat, obviously, but looks a lot like him. And you can see that if they were to do another movie, a next movie, that he would definitely have that look, and it would make sense. And then also, the mid-credit scenes, Tails appears out of a portal and basically says, it says he's here somewhere, I gotta find him, and gets his tails out and goes off. And you're like, oh, shit, you know? And I had heard that he was going to be in there, so it wasn't a huge surprise to me. But for my kids, it was a huge surprise, and that was really cool. But end of the day, a simple movie, simple plot, simple humor, but for the fans. Like I said, I wouldn't have had any interest in seeing this if this movie had not got the attention it did for how bad the trailer was. If they hadn't come out and said, we hear you fans, we're going to listen to you, we're not going to do the same thing that Hollywood does, we're going to listen, and they changed it. And I had a good time. I don't have a huge desire to see this movie again. I will buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out for my kids. I do know that because they liked it so much. But that's pretty much my overall thoughts. It's not a complex movie. It's not something I care a whole lot about, but I thought it's important to talk about it because it is a message to Hollywood. And a message from some people in Hollywood that there are some people who are willing to listen, that don't think they're smarter than you, that don't think that they want to give you what you need, not what you want. And it's refreshing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there. Let me know if you've seen Sonic or if you're planning on it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.